no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Today's show presented by Manscape. All the guys out there, manscape.com/Raiders, where you can save 20% off and get free shipping, because what I don't want is that you get traded away. So what are we talking about on today's show? I'm going to be breaking down 5 teams that I think the Raiders could trade back with at pick number 17. Plus, I got some trade ideas involving some Raiders players, more draft picks, and some players from some other teams. The first team I'm going to bring up here on the Las Vegas Raiders Report, it's the Tennessee Titans, and they're sitting there at pick number 22. They have 9 picks in this year's draft, which you guys can see on screen. Every team, you'll be able to see every single one of their draft picks. The Titans team needs, I see tight end, wide receiver, offensive tackle, edge, and safety. If I'm the Titans, and let's just say a few wide receivers slide down the board, and you're sitting there like, okay, I want to trade above a team like the Dolphins, above a team like the Washington football team, a team like the Bears that could take a receiver, that's when you could see the Titans realistically make this move. Also, I mean, the fact that the Indianapolis Colts, the team that's really kind of been the Titans' kryptonite, have been sitting there, it's just another reason why you could see them make this move here. So the Titans, they trade up to pick number 17 with the Raiders. What exactly does that trade look like? The Raiders, they get pick number 22, pick number 85, and then pick 205. The Titans get 17. For those of you wondering how I came up with all the deals that you're about to see on the show, I went through and I looked at the trade value chart. Yes, you can find it. It's simply on Google, and where you can see how much value each pick is worth. So who do y'all think ends up winning this trade here for the Raiders? Or if you think it's the Titans, if you're sitting there saying, you know what, man, this is a good deal for the Raiders, go ahead and spam LV in the chat. If you're like, you know what, it works out for the Titans, go ahead and type TEN. If you think that all the trades that you see on today's show work out for both teams, seriously, don't be afraid to spam both. Now, if you haven't already, smash that sub button for non-stop Raiders coverage, and it's 100% free. The link is below, youtube.com/Raiders Report. It's also right underneath this video. It's a big red button that says subscribe. I tell people all the time, the easiest way to support the show, the easiest way that we can make more content is by subscribing to the Raiders Report. We're going to keep you guys updated on all things going on in the draft, and if any breaking news happens, we'll be the channel to give you guys the information that you need. Seriously, hit that big red button and subscribe. Let's go to the next team here on my list. It's the New York Jets at pick number 23. So New York, they got 9 picks in the 2021 NFL Draft. Again, all of them listed right here. When I look at some of the big needs, quarterback, sorry, it's just going to be Zach Wilson. But corner, edge, running back, tight end, you could really see New York get aggressive as well here, where they might not need one of their biggest needs might not be a receiver, but let's just say in a crazy world, somebody like, I don't know, Kyle Pitts falls down the board, or another really talented receiver falls down the board. You're telling me right now that they're not going to try to get their main guy another option, especially at receiver? What about running back? What if they want somebody like a Najee Harris and Miami's sitting there licking their chops for him? What if they want another offensive tackle because somebody like, I don't know, Rashawn Slater, Tevin Jenkins, Elijah Vera Tucker, whoever falls down the board? You could see New York saying, we got so many draft picks, let's just go up and get the guy we want. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So here's my NFL draft idea. And honestly, out of all the trades that I have on today's show, this might actually be my favorite. So the Raiders, they received 23, 34, and 66. So essentially what you're seeing is this. The Raiders are swapping their first-round picks with New York, and they're swapping their second-round pick with New York, and they're swapping their third-round pick. So sure, you go down 6 spots, but you jump up into the second, you jump up into the third. I really, really like this deal here for the Raiders. So let me know, who wins this trade? We got 888 people watching us live here on the Raiders Report. As a reminder, we go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So as it says on screen, turn on your notifications. Seriously, turn on those noties. That way you don't miss a thing. So who wins this trade? Type LBR for the Las Vegas Raiders, or I want you to type NYJ for the New York Jets. Now, today's show is presented by our good friends Manscape, and if you're looking to get that perfect package like the one I just showed in that trade details, here's how you do it. You go to manscape.com/Raiders, where you can save 20% off and get free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. The Lawnmower 3.0 is this thing featured over here. It's got an 8-hour battery life. It's the best way that you can stay trimmed down below, on your chest, underneath your armpits, and you can actually also use it on your face, but I'm just going to say this. Change your blades, which you get 3 extra blades in this bad boy. Again, that is available at manscape.com/Raiders. What also comes in the perfect package? The most comfortable boxers you will ever wear. And let's just say it's been a long time since you had a little bit of a rub and tug. You put those on and your girl or man is going to start rubbing them, I guarantee you that. Also comes with a free traveling case as well. If you use ball deodorant, seriously, you're going to absolutely love it. If you walk by somebody and you smell that little bit of a funk, maybe some Famunda cheese going on, maybe they don't use this. You don't want to be that guy. Ball toner and ball deodorant might be my 2 most important things that I'm going to sit here and pound on the table for. I use these things every single day. If you haven't been able to tell, I'm an energetic person. I sweat when I do this show. The last thing I want to do after doing a show is go home to my girlfriend and her be like, what is going on in that downstairs area? Luckily, Manscaped's got me covered, and they can cover y'all too. Get the perfect package, 20% off and free shipping, manscaped.com/Raiders. Let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their pick at number 25. So obviously they have the number 1 overall pick. That's going to be Trevor Lawrence. But at pick 25, they have other needs, let's say at the tight end position. Safety position is a definite need. Offensive tackle, cornerback. What happens if some of these offensive tackles slide down the board like we've seen in some Mel Kiper mock drafts, right? It definitely could happen. Why not go out ahead and protect your main guy? Because sure, you got Cam Robinson, but you also want to be able to protect him another way. So what happens if an offensive tackle slides down the board and you really want to be able to jump up to 17 to take him? Now, what I wanted to be able to do on today's show, instead of just saying just picks every single time, I wanted to be able to mix it up a little bit. So here's a trade idea that I put together. The Raiders, they get pick number 25, pick number 65, and 170. So a first, a third, and a fifth. The Jags, they get our 17th overall pick, and since tight end is such a big need for them, they get Foster Moreau. So essentially what you're seeing here is this. For pick 17, the value is 25 and 65. Since the Raiders drafted Moreau round 4, 137, he's coming off a knee injury. I actually like Moreau a lot. He's one of the players that I said could potentially have a breakout. But let's just say the Raiders are like, you know what? We're going to ship him out. We're going to get some extra draft capital here. That I think really what he would be worth is a pick less than what they got him for, which is why you see that 5th round pick at 170 overall. So who do y'all think wins this trade here? I want you to type R for the Raiders, or I want you to type J for the Jaguars. If you don't like it because of just Foster Moreau, I understand that. But I just wanted to tell y'all, I wanted to be a little bit different, so that's why Moreau was featured here in this trade idea. Let's go to the next team here on teams that the Raiders could potentially trade down with. I got the Baltimore Ravens, who are at pick number 27 in this year's draft. Biggest needs: receiver, edge, safety, center, and linebacker. 7 picks in the 2021 draft. But the reason why I went with Baltimore's a pretty aggressive team. And when they feel like that they like a player, they're not afraid to trade up. They've done it before, and I wouldn't be shocked if they did it again. So let's say they want to get Lamar Jackson, their top receiver. Let's say a guy like Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle. What happens if those guys fall down the board? Baltimore could be like, all right, that's the guy that we want to go get. That's why I ultimately thought that this deal made some sense here. But how about this? The Raiders, one of their biggest needs is right tackle. So let's get a little bit creative. So you swap your first-round picks, 27 and 17. The Ravens are looking for a first-round pick in terms of going out and getting Orlando Brown. Now, I don't know if 48 and 79 is enough to get Brown. So basically, you're just going to eat the first-round value in 27 and 17, and that's why the Baltimore Ravens would be like, okay, I'm okay going out and do this 48 and 79. Though, and the trade value chart, 48 and 79 is basically equivalent to a very, very late first-round pick. But the Raiders, they still get to keep their first-round pick, and they get a right tackle in Orlando Brown Jr. Sure, you're going to have to pay him top dollar. Like, he's going to be one of the most expensive offensive tackles. Like, he's going to get more than what Colton Miller got, and I'm just being real with y'all. So keep that in mind. But then you can also maybe get somebody like a Trayvon Mullen, or not Trayvon Mullen, Mayock from TCU. Or you could go out and get a guy like Azeez Ojulari, or whoever else you need. Zaven Collins, maybe Jeremiah Wills-Moore still on the board. Like, a lot of different ways here for this Raiders team. So let me know. Who wins this trade? Type Raiders, or let's go down in the comments and type Ravens. All right, y'all, if you haven't already, hit me up on Instagram. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. Always trying to keep you guys updated what's going on with the latest around the Raiders. I'm always posting stuff from my Twitter on there as well, posting what's going on in my daily life. But if you made it this far in the video and you see any of these trades, you're like, you know what, man, I didn't like that. Tell me about it. Like, we can talk in my DMs. It's by far the easiest way for me to know what's going on. But also, if you're traveling to Dallas, you want to grab a beer, hit me up. And if I'm going to a city near you, easiest way I can get in contact with you, I promise, is on IG, and it's down there below. Let's go to the last team here featured on today's episode, the New Orleans Saints at pick number 28. Another team that's not really been afraid to go ahead and trade up when they find a guy that they want. So they have 8 picks in this year's draft. The top needs, linebacker, cornerback, and that's really where I see linebacker and corner. So let's just say in a world where Jeremiah Will-Score-Moore is still on the board, a player like Micah Parsons still on the board, or let's say I don't really think Surtain falls, but what happens if they really like a J.C. Horn? I mean, Joe Horn played a lot of football in New Orleans. Why not? Maybe they can convince him to go get his son. All I'm saying is this. Those are some of the positions that I could see New Orleans saying, that's the type of guy I want. And they couldn't go out and spend big in free agency for the simple fact of this. They didn't have a lot of money to be able to go out and spend. So this one, it's a little bit more simple, but guess what? That's sometimes what I have to do here. So the Raiders, they get a first-round pick, 28, and a second-round pick, 60 overall. The New Orleans Saints get to go up to pick number 17. So would y'all make this trade? Yes or no? Do you think it's a good value? I know it doesn't have some of this other flair that a lot of the other trades had, but in terms of the trade value chart, the Raiders are getting the better deal here. I would still like maybe just like a little bit of an extra pick since the Saints would be the ones making the trade up. But if the Raiders called the Saints up and they're like, hey, we want to trade back, and the Saints were willing to do this, I still think you absolutely do this in a heartbeat because, again, the more holes you're able to fill, the better off the Raiders are going to be. So the teams that could trade back with are, and I did this based on most realistic options. If the Raiders trade back with another team, honestly, I won't even be mad at all. But I got the Tennessee Titans at pick 22, the Jets, the Jags, the Ravens at the Saints. Now, I know I threw a lot of information at you, but I am going to try to make sure that you remember the trades that I did. So out of all 5 trades that I just showed with the Raiders in terms of trading back, which one was your favorite? Was it the Tennessee Titans deal? If it was, type 1. If it was the New York Jets deal, I want you to type 2. Jags, type 3. Ravens, type 4. Saints, type 5. My favorite deal out of all of these in terms of really being able to rebuild the Raiders team on offense and on defense, I'm typing my 2 for the Jets. If you can get pick 23, pick 34, and pick 65, I believe is what it was, and realistically, you're just swapping your first, your second, and third as well. You get to really move up, and you get to be able to fill a few more holes here. So for me, out of all the trades that I just showed, I'm going to go ahead and type my 2 for the Jets.